Hey guys, my name is Ali Al Karaguli. I'm a postdoctoral fellow and a systems engineer at the NASA Jet Propulsion Lab. And in this video, I want to show you how you can use an anti-fragile frame of thinking to achieve your wildest dreams in life and in business. And this is going to be very counterintuitive. This is going to be very different from anything you've heard in the self-help industry or by the law of attraction gurus or things of that nature. And I'm going to walk you through an actual process that is practical that you can start implementing today in your day-to-day life. And by the end of this video, you will be transformed. So most self-help gurus have only half of the story right, which is you need to get clear on your desired outcome, right? So most self-help books will say something along the lines of, you need to visualize the end outcome. What is it you're trying to do? Where do you want to go? How much do you want to lose weight? What is the business revenue you're trying to achieve? That's fine. But they fail to address a far more important idea. And this more important idea is something that SpaceX has cracked and Elon Musk specifically has cracked. And this is why SpaceX is one of the most innovative and fastest companies. And they're doing things that are crazy that no one thought would be possible. And this basically comes around when you're setting your goals or you're trying to get your life that you're desiring. A lot of people are clear on what they want. Even people who think they're a bit lost, like everyone to an extent would like to have more money in the bank, travel the world, like grow a company, better relationships, a more attractive partner, things of that nature. Like these are things that a lot of people have in common. But when it comes to the implementation and the action, this is where SpaceX as a company is very different from the rest of the companies and from the rest of people in general. And I got to see this firsthand because not only have I read Elon Musk's biographies, I read both biographies, but I say this one, the newer one, is a much better one. But I actually was also inside SpaceX. I interviewed at SpaceX prior to starting my job at NASA. And even though working at NASA was a better fit for me, what I learned at SpaceX was crazy. And this is why I'm making this video. So I want to talk about the second part that most people neglect, which is what I call the anti-fragility system, right? So again, we agreed that the dream outcome or the desired outcome, everyone knows that, okay, you got to figure out what you want, write it down, put it on a piece of paper, put it in your face, visualize it. That's fine. But where SpaceX goes well is that they say that, okay, what can go wrong here and how is this going to fail? And this is very counterintuitive because most people think, okay, how am I going to succeed? How do I succeed? How do I reach success? How do I achieve success? But in the case of what I've learned at SpaceX, you're actually very focused on failure. And if I were to really think of one thing that separates someone who's a super achiever versus someone who's like paralyzed and unable to take action, it really comes down to fear of failure. SpaceX and Elon Musk confront failure in the eye and say, we will fail. We're only in one loop within the iteration cycle, and failure is inevitable. We're going to get there sooner or later. So the question goes from, how do I achieve success to, okay, how do I fail as fast as possible in this next step so I can learn and figure out what's going on? So whenever you're coming up with a dream outcome, and let's say, again, you're trying to scale your company to a certain revenue level, you're also going to say, okay, I'm going to try something. Your intuition or your brain is going to come up to you with an idea. Or if you have a coach, your coach is going to say, okay, let's try this thing. And you should always filter things first, because if you get a coach, the coach should teach you how to think and not just, you shouldn't just blindly follow what the coach tells you. That's a topic for a different video. But the idea is that once you figure out what you want to do, you should expect that at some point is going to break, right? The market is always dynamic. The method you're using is probably dynamic. You probably don't know enough. And whatever you're about to do will likely fail. And if you say, okay, this thing, I want to scale my company, let's say 10K per month, 20K per month, 30K per month. I'm going to try this new ad strategy, right? What most people do is they're like, okay, how do I get it right? Right? I'm going to spend money. I don't want to waste my money. Like, how do I get it right? What someone who's much faster and more successful going to think will say, okay, I'm going to try this thing and it's probably going to break at some point. It's probably going to fail. How do I get to the point of failure or breaking as fast as possible? And based on that, I'm going to learn something and try and iterating. And that's why first you gather your resources. You say, okay, if I'm trying to like run Facebook ads or run YouTube ads or do something in the context of business, do I have what it takes? Do I have enough skills? Do I have enough skills to get started, right? This is where initiation happens, is you just start, right? And again, most people don't even make it to the initiation phase because they're too busy being perfectionist and being fearful about what if the dream outcome doesn't happen, that they never really make it to the breaking point. And third step is speed, right? Once you initiate, you really want to go with speed at that breaking point. The breaking point is going to happen, and then the failure is going to be confirmed, right? You're going to achieve your dream outcome in the short term, which is breaking the thing that you're trying, right? And then you're going to go ahead and repeat it. Now, where this is really, really powerful is if you're someone who is a solopreneur, like you're by yourself, you don't have accountability, for example, you have perfectionist tendencies. You could be a student, you could be anybody who's trying to do something difficult with a little bit of perfectionism, a little bit of fear, a little bit of scarcity. For example, if you have like a limited amount of money and you're trying to like do it on, trying to spend it on ads or things of that nature, a lot of that fear and emotions is going to be dictating your decision making. The whole idea behind this very anti-fragile system is it's anti-fragile. Instead of wishing for things to go right, you're expecting for things to go wrong. And this mindset shift, again, very counterintuitive from a lot of things you hear in self-help, which is just visualize that everything's going to be amazing, everything's going to be great. In a simulation run by a computer or in an ideal world or in a video game, sure, all the variables are controlled for. But if you're like me and you've been on this planet long enough, you know that life is very dynamic and life things change very, very fast. And there's a lot of uncounted for variables that are going to come along the way. So who do you think is going to be well equipped to succeed? The person who is expecting things to only go right, and the moment something goes wrong, he's like, oh my God, what happened to my perfect plan? My perfect plan is like done. Or someone who's like, I'm going to try this thing and there's a good chance this entire thing falls apart, but I'm going to learn something and I'm going to pick right where I started off. And that's what enables speed. Speed comes from not fearing that things are going to go wrong, expecting that things are going to go wrong, and having the confidence and the courage to face it head on, right? As I was preparing this YouTube video right here and I made these block diagrams, part of me, the perfectionist part, initially was like, oh, but like, what if the video doesn't? And I'm like, dude, I don't care if the video does well or does not. This is something I want to teach people, and it's worth teaching. And the faster I get to the point to where the video doesn't do well, the click-through rate is not good enough, I'll learn something. Okay, maybe this is not something people are interested in. Maybe, but the idea is that I'm going to sit down and I'm going to record this video and I'm going to teach people something that I think is valuable, and I'm going to present it in the best way that I think can help them. And guess what? There will be a point where not everyone's going to watch it till the end. Not everyone's going to learn something. So people may not even like the video. But the faster I get to that breaking point, the faster I can see what I learned from here and then apply it to my next video, or I can help people in the comments, or I can see if I can better serve my viewers, right? Again, completely different way to look at it. And I speak about this with such passion because when I started my first channel, over here, it was my engineering channel. And it may look impressive that I took it to 31,000 subscribers, but the idea is it took me a long time to grow this channel to 3,000. It's been 2 years, and it took me like 2 years to grow this channel to 30,000 subscribers. And a big part of that was perfectionism. Is when in the very early stages of my of me posting videos, I was just like spending so much time fearing, like, oh my God, what if a video doesn't do well? What if things don't work out? Now I post videos and they do really well over here, and likewise, same happens over here on in this channel, because I don't care if the video doesn't do well. I don't care if things break. At my job at NASA, obviously, the dream outcome is eventually you want to get it right, but to get it right long term, big picture, you're going to get it wrong a lot of times. There are many times at my job at NASA where we're running tests and we have to run it like 20 or 30 times. And every single time we have to like screw things on, put them on, plug in the electronics, turn on software. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort, right? And this is the reality of the situation. Like, you need effort and you need work to get things done. But the way to get over the mindset and the hurdle of the effort and the work needed is to accept that things are going to fail, use the failure as a confirmation. And again, you want to keep your desired outcome in mind, but you're going to expect what can go wrong and how do I get to that breaking point fast enough so then I can learn, iterate. And I do that over and over and over again. If you start adopting this way of thinking, you're going to get things done way faster, and your life is like, things are just never going to be the same. Okay. So if you're someone who's trying to be fast in your personal life, or you're trying to be more productive, you should go ahead and check this video out. It should show up somewhere, I don't know, on the screen. Other than that, you can watch the rest of my videos. If you're here for the first time, leave a comment, say hi. Channel is still very small, so I'm probably still going to be responding. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, love.